I'm Tom, and this is Bullets, Brass and Ballistics. How much is too much recoil? Great question. What is recoil? Well, free recoil, which is measured in foot-pounds, as I'm sure you're aware, is what we call kick, felt recoil. It's the rifle coming back at you. Dear old Newton, he plays quite a big part in ballistics and firearms. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So therefore, to send a projectile fizzingly fast that way, there's something coming back at you. Now, obviously, recoil is mitigated by predominantly the weight of the rifle, but obviously, depending on what you're using that rifle for, what discipline, be it hunting, be it F-class, bench rest, there are limits as to how heavy you want that rifle to be. So therefore, obviously, if you have a hard kicking caliber in a 7-pound hunting rig, you're going to feel it. And you're going to feel it more than that same caliber being in, say, an F-class or bench rest stock. But a lot of people ask me, how much is too much recoil? And it's a really interesting point. I don't like recoil. I've been shooting for years and years and years, and I've shot some horrid cartridges. I'll tell you about one of my particular least favourites in a minute. But so let's talk about some common calibers and their approximate. And these are approximate figures. And as I say, there's lots of things that vary. Dear old 2.2 long rifle, well, that recoils about 0.1 foot-pound. 1.7 Hornet, which is about as small as you can go for a centerfire round. That's going to knock you massively backwards, 1.2 foot-pounds. 223, pretty common cartridge. 223 is 5.5 foot-pounds-ish, give or take, some change. 22-250, this is quite an interesting one because it does jump up a little bit. Obviously, you'll probably be aware of the extra performance you get with a 22-250 over a 223, but 22-250 is going to give you about 8 foot-pounds of felt recoil, a free recoil kick. 243, 9 foot-pounds. 6.5 Creedmoor, 11 foot-pounds. My personal favourite long-range cartridge, 6.5 PRC, 16 foot-pounds. So we're starting to jump up. 270 Winchester, 18 foot-pounds. 308, 18th 308 Winchester, 18 foot-pounds. 30-06, about 20 foot-pounds. And really, this is where I think it gets quite interesting. That's about the average tolerance for the average shooter. 20 foot-pounds, you don't want to shoot, much over 20 foot-pounds, you don't want to shoot long strings, you don't want to shoot the round all day. Because then we jump up to the 300 Win Mag. And the 300 Win Mag's 30 foot-pounds. And that's when you start seeing flinching, you start seeing pulled shots, etc., because it does knock you about. Now, obviously, there's things we can mitigate. We can put a muzzle brake on. We can put a moderator, a suppressor on. And those things do help to reduce straight line recoil. And really, I'd say that once you start getting up, 300 Win Mags, experienced shooters, yes, they'll shoot it, but they'll tell you as well, they don't want to sit and shoot 30 rounds off the trot with it. Then we go up 300 Weatherby Magnum. So here's the 300 Win Mag. Here's the 300 Weatherby Magnum. 300 Weatherby, 34 foot-pounds. 338 Lapua, everyone's favourite sniper round, 38 foot-pounds. One of my absolute favourite classic cartridges, the 375 Holland & Holland Magnum, of which I've owned a couple and absolutely regret selling one of them, left-handed Safari Magnum. But the 375, that's 40 foot-pound of felt recoil. So you start knowing you're really shooting that. And then, other than 50 cal, I have shot 50 cal, obviously. The hunting, the heaviest recoiling hunting cartridge I've ever fired, 600 Nitro Express, and this thing kicks. Over 100 foot-pounds of recoil, and I shot it. I shot one in an 18-pound rifle, and I shot it freestanding. Yeah, I fired 3, and that was tons. And number one wasn't so bad because I didn't know what was coming. Number 2 was unpleasant, and number 3 really was very, very unpleasant. I guess if you've got a Cape Buffalo charging you down at 25 yards, you probably wouldn't notice. But as I say, yeah, 100 foot-pounds of free recoil. Interestingly, I mentioned the 50 cal. The 50 cal BMG is actually only 85 foot-pounds of recoil, but that's still a thumb. So, in summary, most people, even brand new shooters, never pulled the trigger before. £10 and under, they're going to be absolutely fine. So, you know, you're talking 6.5 Creedmoor, 243 and down. With a little bit of experience, the next category, your 270s, your 308s, your 38.6s, they're going to be in the sort of mid-teens to early 20s, and with practice and experience, you know, they're absolutely fine to shoot. Tons and tons of people do. Then we go up into the 300 Magnums and the specialist cartridges, and that's when, yeah, recoil really does start to take its toll. But as I say, 99 times out of 100, you're going to have a muzzle brake or a suppressor that's going to bring that recoil really right back down and make it a much more pleasant experience to shoot. I hope you're enjoying the content. Please like and subscribe. It does mean a lot to me, and to see that, you know, someone's watching and enjoying my ramblings. See you next time.